Go.
Health, 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 health.
What's the? I guess that's the topic here. What's the name of our little podcast, Ben?
No Scurvy here. A podcast for people who get their citrus.
Relevant.
Well, yeah, man, you can get. You just got to be careful.
Yeah,
I mean,
like an important component of health is getting vitamin C and not having scurvy.
It's true. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I am reading Tony Robbins' book on health right now. The name, which I mentioned 5 minutes ago, the name being Life Force. And I don't exactly know what sparked it, but sometimes we come across the book that we needed at the right time. And I have recently strung together a bunch of positive habits. The first one being, I felt myself. Do you mind if I go on a bunch of tangents and kind of lead this down the road?
Dude,
Do you mind?
tangent away. I'm very interested in what you're saying.
Okay, so maybe 5 months or so ago, I was all hyped up on caffeine. And I had drank a bunch of coffee in the morning to get my day going. And then an unexpected, in a bad way, business thing came across my plate first thing in the morning. And my anxiety level and stress I just went whoop. And I was sitting there thinking, I don't like this level of stress that I have right now. I don't like this. This is no good. This is not. If this is what my career is going to be like, if this is what my life is going to be like, then I need to figure out a solution to this. And I was actually staying down on a beach, so I was in a beach community. I literally spent a couple hours walking on the beach the night before, had gone to sleep, had slept 8 hours, living this dream life, a block from the beach. And my stress level spiked over what some people would consider a relatively minor business problem.
Okay.
So after that, I started brainstorming. How can I make it so that these types of episodes happen less frequently? Because I had never acknowledged the fact that this is a common thing. So the first step was I figured, well, I should reduce my caffeine. Bring this down. And, at this point, I've only been down to drinking. I was down to drinking, maybe 2 cups of coffee a day in the morning, first thing. So the first step was I figured I'm going to reduce my caffeine down just over the next month by as much as I can. So I started drinking, I started drinking decaf coffee, which has a fifth of the amount of normal coffee, so still has, some caffeine in there. I would say you probably don't want to have decaf coffee before bed because it still has a fifth of the amount of caffeine as coffee that is not decaffeinated. So I started finding myself less anxious and stressed in the morning. Okay. Then I started a process of every morning meditating for 5 minutes and only 5 minutes. And that's it. It's actually a to-do on my calendar. So my calendar is my to-do list. So I have to accomplish that task every day. Just sitting down, phone in airplane mode, 5-minute timer, sit there, 5 minutes. I've tried different types of meditations over the years. And 20-minute meditations during times of business stress. But just having a 5-minute meditation goal every day, this has been extremely sustainable. For months, I've been doing this every single morning.
Yeah.
Don't have to focus on breath. Just carving out the 5 minutes, sitting there. Whatever. It can be sitting cross-legged on on a couch. It could be sitting in a chair. It could be sitting in a car. It doesn't matter. You're meditating for 5 minutes. So those two habits, which have helped me, first and foremost, have way less stress during the workday. I've also found myself much more solution oriented rather than being like a pinball back and forth between problems throughout the day or throughout the work week. So I find myself more smooth. My energy is more smooth and consistent throughout the day.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing for me. So that was the first somewhat of a shift in habits. Then I came across this Tony Robbins book. And I would recommend this to anybody. It's I'm reading the audiobook. It's like 20 hours long, so it's a beast of a book. And it's all research on health. It's stuff that's groundbreaking research around health. One thing I learned last night is if you eat broccoli sprouts have massive cancer-fighting attributes. Not just broccoli. So broccoli itself does have cancer-fighting attributes, but the broccoli sprouts. Simple. And Tony said that out of any of the vegetables, that is the one to reduce the chance of you having cancer.
Okay.
That's one simple thing that has come from this book. So part of this, a thing that has, starting with the caffeine, starting with the meditating, I've just found myself working out more, exercising more, running more, thinking more about health. So now, a new habit that I've taken on over the last month has been every morning I stretch for 5 minutes. So that's another to-do on my calendar. Just stretch for 5 minutes, stretch my legs, do quick yoga poses. And I've just had this burning desire to exercise more. So I'm addicted to exercise again. I used to be addicted to exercise in college when I was a competitive runner, but I'm just addicted to exercise again.
That's a great thing to be addicted to, man.
Yeah. So this is big for me. I'm excited to be on this path of health. One thing that Tony Robbins said in that book was at one point in his life, he decided to make health his number one priority. I was like, that is fascinating. That's a neat mindset to have, right?
Truly, yes.
So for me, the thing that I am wrestling with, that I was thinking about this morning, was how to set physical goals, if any. I certainly am a very goal-oriented person, and I love pursuing goals, So it's very easy for me to go to a gym and see some dudes that are massive and think, I want that. That's like the competitive instinct.
The competitive, yeah, exactly.
The competitive instinct. So, as I think this through, I don't know what goals I want to set because my mind goes to be as healthy as possible, which is not a bad goal.
Is it sustainable?
I think that what is sustainable is exercising five times a week and just doing it 5 times a week. Simple. Keep it simple. I think that is probably the best mindset to have around this.
Yeah.
So I'll try to avoid a goal around, say, ability to bench press X amount of pounds.
Right.
I think that may lead to injury and may short circuit this process. Probably if I was to give advice to someone else, to myself, if I was give advice to myself, say 10 years ago, I would say your goal shouldn't be the outcome, it shouldn't be the results. Your goal should be the process. So 5 days a week exercising. So in my case, I think the goal should be the process, not the outcome.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh man, I mean, you're speaking my language here. I used to be very, very competitive.
Yeah.
I just grew up that way. It was sort of, almost trained into me to a degree.
Yeah.
And I just started to realize kind of later in my life, that
Yeah.
um, that competitive mindset, it it certainly has motivated me, but it's almost all there's always been a component of fear to it. Like when I'm
Mm.
feeling competitive, it's when I break that down, it's really more so the fear of losing than the desire to win.
Huh.
And that just causes me, whenever I'm feeling competitive, I'm feeling anxious because it's fear based.
Huh.
Um, and like when I talk about, in the past being competitive with people, I kind of
Yeah.
talk about it and like, oh yeah, I want to rock this, I want to do this, I want to,
Yeah.
I'm excited to achieve this goal. When in my mind the constant is I don't want to lose. And so now over the past, whatever number of years, I've really focused on not being competitive and having other reasons to want to achieve
Beautiful.
goals. And exactly the same thing you just said, like your goal being not to be able to bench press however many pounds, but to just get on the bench, 5 times a week. That's
Right.
learning to find motivation and joy in the process, and whatever the outcome. You're gonna get stronger. You just
Fitter.
are. But like
Stronger, fitter,
you don't
better
need
at running.
but you don't need to be, better than the next guy or
No.
even better than your past self or anything. We just have to love the process.
Do the
If we're doing
process.
something, we got to have a good reason for doing it. Not only does that make it more sustainable, but much more importantly, it makes it more enjoyable. And I want to enjoy life. I don't want to constantly be
Yeah.
chasing something. I have to have goals. I have to solve problems, but I want to enjoy the solution, not hate the solution.
Yeah, and exercise of itself can be extremely enjoyable.
Oh, man, it's
Very,
amazing.
very, very enjoyable. I mean, my knees are a little sore, and I wish they
Mhm.
weren't, because otherwise I'd go on a run today. You know, it's like oh man,
Yeah.
want it. It can be so fun. It can be so
Yeah.
fun. You've taken it on over the last couple of years. You know, it's become one of your major foci.
I basically, short story, I've suffered from chronic pain for a long time in
Yeah.
my back and neck. And I, somewhat like you said, Tony Robbins is advocating, I recommitted probably 6 or 9 months ago to making it like the number one priority, because I've got
Love
to the
it.
point where I can't enjoy life because of the chronic pain.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been like that for a long time, and it's causing depression and anxiety, or at least helping with that. So um, I just decided, hey, if I'm not like 100% tackling my chronic pain, then what am I doing with my life? Because
Right.
it's affecting every other area of my life.
Right.
So I just started doing a bunch of stuff. I was already doing some stuff to deal with it, but I was just like, I'm going to do everything.
I
And
love
I
it.
actually, you took me to the gym. We went to the Jewish Community Center in Rochester.
This winter.
Like I think it was over the winter. So
Yeah.
um, or last fall or something.
Yeah.
And I had never been on a bench press machine before, and you had me get on there, and I lifted some weights. And afterwards, I was like, "Oh, Ben, like my neck doesn't really hurt much right now, but it hurt a
Love it.
lot. Like going into this, like
Love
what's
it.
going on?" I've been doing physical therapy exercises for a long time, which
Yeah.
involve like yoga type stuff and stretching and
Yeah.
like minor strengthening stuff. But I'd never like really lifted weights, aggressive strength training.
I love it.
So you just like opened my eyes with that, and then I was like, okay. So I went to a gym, got like a little short term day pass, did some more weightlifting. My neck felt really good again, and I was just like, from there, I was like, man, I just got to start doing this. This is one of the things I have to do, and I got to start doing it every day. And my goal every day with exercise now is just to reduce pain,
Beautiful.
and it's not like that's so sustainable for me because it is so
Yes.
enjoyable not to be in pain. But there's all
Love
these
it.
side effects in that I'm like, oh man, this feels really good. Like if my goal is just to get to the gym. I go to the YMCA,
Yeah.
multiple times per week, and
Yeah.
when I'm not in the gym, do a routine at home.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much hitting 6 out of 7 days a week, and
Amazing.
I'm not doing a lot. I'm not trying to get to any particular place. I'm just trying to, like you said, exercise every single day because it reduces my pain level and it's healthy for me, and
Huge.
it makes me happy and it is fun when I'm doing it. With that mindset.
It's I love this, and it's so funny how we're on the same page.
Yeah.
We came to it a couple months apart, but
Right.
we're on the same page. And hey, I ran a race last weekend, by the way.
Hey, good for you. I feel like you're always telling me you just ran a race.
Maybe I told you about this. Yeah, we saw each other. We saw each other over the week. When
Okay.
I'll say this for the audience though, and I'll show a picture off of
For
my
our 3
race.
subscribers, including your brother.
Yeah, Ted, and Anonymous.
The story's for you, Ted, and Anonymous.
This is me in a race, man. Can you even see that? I have no idea.
I can't quite see because of the lag, but I'm sure it's coming through on the video.
Yeah, it was
But remind me again, how many people were in this race?
3, and it was amazing. My warm up was jumping over the fence at Cornell's track and running down the straightaway to get to my friends,
Yeah.
and then throwing on a high school jersey, and then jumping into this mile race. That was my warm up. And the 2 guys in this race, the groom for the wedding I attended, and then my friend Will,
Yeah.
they sped off the starting line. I felt it was so fast. Looked at my watch, through the first 200 meters, and it was not that fast compared to what we used to run. But I was very happy. I ran a 6:14, and without really any training, ran a 6:14. So I want to do another race. I'm excited. This is what I want to do. You want one? I think we talked about this.
Yeah, and I am in because I'm in the habit of saying yes. I don't
Yes.
think I could run a mile in less than 10 minutes, but I'd be interested in finding out. As far as I'm concerned, would you say 6:15?
6:15, yeah.
I mean, to me, that sounds like superhuman fast, even though to you it's slow because your buddies were faster.
I used to
I
run
mean,
in
that's
the
amazing.
I used to run in the 4:30s, but
That's insane to me.
one thing that you and I could do, which would be kind of fun, is
Yeah.
we could find a track meet and do a quarter mile race, like one lap.
Did you
Like
say a
it's just
track
really-
meet?
Huh?
Did you just say we could find a track meet?
Yeah, like an open track meet.
Like with people that actually run track? Like we're just gonna...
There
What is a track meet? I don't even know what a track meet is.
There are open. It's a meeting, so I think
Yeah.
that's a. I think I'm pretty positive. That track meet is a historic Roman term.
Oh, okay.
If not, actually, I think it's ancient Arcadian.
I've never even heard of that. Arcadian.
Yeah,
From
ancient
the, from
Arcadian.
the art from the culture of Arcadia.
Yeah, it meant wellspring of life. They were referring to a well, and somehow people think what it really means is people meeting up to run on a track, which seems more logical, but no, it doesn't have anything to do with that at all.
Now that you mention it, I think I heard of this, and it's actually people confuse the word meat with meat.
Yeah,
So it was initially the hunters in ancient Arcadia would go out and get hunt
yeah.
woolly mammoths.
Oh yeah, they do.
And bring the meat to the track, and then they would. You remember doing like a beer mile in college?
Yeah, I won't comment on the last time I did it.
Okay. Okay, don't.
Oh, I'll comment on last summer.
Okay. So, I mean, usually
No
the beer
comment.
comes back up, right? When you
Nope.
do a beer mile? No? Okay.
Not if you train for it like I do, which is drinking lots of water.
Yeah, I mean, a track meet, a meat mile, as they call it, is equally challenging.
You eat a steak each.
An entire steak. Only high quality. It has to be a ribeye, though.
You're just lumbering around the track with a big old belly of steak, but you can't drink water.
You don't even stop. You actually have to eat the steak while you're going around the track.
Hey, if you want to ever do
You
a
have to
meat
think about
mile,
it. Yeah,
I'd be down.
or otherwise known as a track meet.
What about
Yeah,
what,
I'm in.
hey, what about a hot dog mile?
A hot dog mile. I mean, that would also qualify as a meat mile, Ben.
How many hot dogs per lap though? Two or
But are
one?
we eating? Are we including bun or just the dog? Just the dog.
I would say a nice grilled bun would be.
Uh,
Yeah.
I,
Well, how many? At least certainly one per lap. I would consider 1.5 per lap. You know,
I mean, if we're doing hot dogs, yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely.
one and a half per
Well,
lap.
why not two per lap? But as long as it's got to be a natural casing, preferably Zweigel's Texas Hots, and then I'm definitely in.
Yeah, I've been saying recently I kind of want to do an eating contest at some point. This
Oh my
is this is
god!
if
Isn't our topic health right now? Isn't that what we started off
yeah
with?
yeah yeah, but we gotta have fun. This is about not getting scurvy. If
Yeah,
you and I ever want to go legitimately YouTube famous,
yeah.
I think what we could do is film ourselves doing a hot dog mile. I guarantee, and then we could do some paid promo.
I can
Like
see that.
you're not gonna, you gotta. This is how you and I could get famous. Okay, I think that
Yeah.
I think that you and I would be very good at knowing how to become social media famous. So we film us doing our meat mile. Then we put it on. We advertise on Facebook. So paid advertising on Facebook,
Yeah.
and we just rip on the paid advertising on Facebook. I have no idea how Instagram works. I'm thinking though the meat mile is meant for Facebook.
All right. Here's the plan. I like the hot dogs, but I like the idea even better of rolling up to some deserted track with a charcoal grill and some like amazing, like well marbled ribeyes
Oh,
with maybe some butter, definitely some Montreal steak seasoning, and we grill these guys to perfection. We let them cool for 10 minutes. The juices redistribute. Also gives us a chance to be able to hold them in our hands.
let's do this.
And then we take off, man, and you got to finish that ribeye steak by the time you get done with the mile. And then we compete to see who can finish, obviously, the mile and the steak first. We just got to
What
bring
is-
someone along to take footage of us running and or possibly vomiting.
Do you want to actually do this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, but no joke, yeah, that would be really fun and funny.
What's the downside of this? Nothing.
Nothing. There is no downside.
So I'm
This is
thinking a
actually
little.
better competition for me than legitimately running a mile because my cardio is so bad. But man, I can eat steak like nobody's business.
The ribeye mile.
The ribeye mile.
So we could do this at one of the middle schools in Henrietta.
Okay.
It has a cinder track behind the school, and not many people know about it.
Okay.
Because like a high school track might. I mean, we could cook them ahead of time and bring them. I don't know. I mean,
No. Got to cook them there, man. I just love that idea of rolling up. I've got two GoPros. We could strap those to our chests, and then at least one of us is always going to have footage of the guy in front of us.
all right. So the place where we're
Probably
least
me. You'd probably be on camera a lot.
the place where you and I would be least likely to get in trouble for this
Yeah.
would be a small town,
Okay.
right? Like you go to some random town, and if the local police gets called in because they're grilling out near a track, the guy's gonna be like, "Yeah, who cares, right?" But
We can even just grill. We can grill right in the parking lot next. There'll be like a tailgater.
let's do it.
Are tracks publicly accessible? Are there public tracks?
Yeah. Well, most high school tracks have just an entrance that you can go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 100% in.
I love going to tracks. It's fun. It's nice.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I'm not joking, man. I'm
I'm
ready.
gonna be back. I'm gonna be back in town for sure. The last week of August. Do you want to do this Thursday the 25th in the evening?
All right, let me check my schedule for scheduling the meat mile. August 25th.
Yeah,
You said?
yeah, evening.
I'm probably going to be out of town that week.
Yeah.
Let's talk. You know what? We'll schedule this.
Yeah, fine.
You
We're not
want
gonna do this.
you want to wrap this video and then
We're
we'll
not gonna
schedule
do
the
this.
meat
Hey,
mile?
anyway,
We're not. You don't want to. Okay.
hey man, if we didn't schedule it now, we're not gonna do it. So end the video. That's all we got on health.